Hey, Walt here from StogieReview.com with another video cigar review. This time around, it is fairly early in the morning. It is Saturday morning. Many of you are probably still sleeping right now. It's somewhere between 5:30 and 5:45 a.m. and I'm a morning person. I know some people are groaning and moaning, but I get up in the morning, I'm happy, I'm in a good mood, and I haven't even had coffee yet. It's sitting over there, but I'll start sipping on it when I get my cigar lit. So why am I smoking a cigar so early in the morning? You know, one of my favorite things to do is wake up, have, you know, get cleaned up, come down here and light up a cigar and have a cup of coffee. It's I don't know, daddy time, I suppose. It's the only time where I can have a cigar and not hear my daughter running around on the floor above me. It's that the house is completely quiet. You know, the dog doesn't need to go out. You know, just everything is peaceful, and as a result, it's just a very relaxing time, and it's a very productive time. I like to sit down and get a variety of things done. You know, take a look at what needs to be done for Stogie Review, WaltNPA.com. You know, catch up on email, find out what's going on Twitter, Facebook. You know, what did I miss throughout the evening? And I find that it's just a very pleasant time, and because I was in such a good mood, and because I feel like I should give you something back after what Mike posted this morning, I'm reviewing a very expensive cigar that Jerry was kind enough to send me in that gift bundle that he sent a week or two ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago. And this is the Davidoff Millennium blend. Now, I remember having one of these at some point in time, I think, but I really don't remember too much about it. I think it was more of a Robusto format, and I remember it being very expensive and somewhat full-bodied, if my memory is correct. You know, I'm not absolutely certain that I've had one of these before, so we're going to call it a first impressions review. And because of that, I want to give you a little bit of information, because what is on Stogie Review is kind of dated, and all the pictures were lost in the great server crash of 2012 or 11 or whatever it was. So the price on this cigar is $19.20 for a single, or $182.99 for a box of 10. This is the Lancero. It's 40 by 7 1/4. And there's also a short Robusto, a Churchill, a Lonsdale, a Pyramid, Robusto, and a Robusto Tubo, all of which range from, it looks like the least expensive one is about $15, I'm sorry, $11 in the Petite Corona, and they go up to, looks like $21.20 for the Pyramid. So, expensive cigar. I'm looking forward to it. I'm you know, the reputation of Davidoff, I'm almost certain that the cigar is going to live up to that price tag, and I'm going to enjoy it. But you know, it's the journey that's important. So the sales description on this cigar is: Davidoff Millennium Lancero natural cigars are the most full-bodied of all Davidoff cigars, blended from hardier vintage tobacco, or vintage Dominican tobaccos and Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper leaves, grown exclusively for Davidoff. These fine premium cigars arouse the senses with their perfectly balanced, complex flavors and aromas. With the introduction of the Davidoff Millennium Lancero cigars, Davidoff set an all-new taste reference, the Davidoff experience. Maybe I should have read that with the pinky up. But these are billed as full-bodied cigars. Again, it's a 40 by 7 1/4. They're made in the Dominican Republic. Ecuadorian wrapper. That's about it. All right, so we know, well, we basically know all the flowery sales information about this cigar. Let's you know, let's take a look at it for what it is. It looks to be very well made. The wrapper's a little bit lumpy. The veins, as they, you know, move down the cigar, have this sort of dotted line appearance to them. You know, they're kind of flat and thin at one point, and then bumpy, and then bumpy, and then flat and bumpy. So it's got that, again, dotted line appearance. It gives it a bit of a lumpy texture. The wrapper leaf looks nice and oily. It looks well constructed. It's got a little, not quite a pigtail cap, but it's got a little twist and shove action going on, which has been flattened out considerably, but that's fine. It has a a hay-like aroma to it, or sort of like straw. It's very enticing, so let's get this thing lit. Well, I got the cigar lit. Nice and easy. Process took, you know, virtually no time at all. It was effortless. The draw is fantastic for a Lancero. I was expecting it to be a little stiff, but just copious amounts of smoke. It's nice and thick, coats the palate well. It's off to a fantastic start. The initial flavor profile is kind of dry, and it's got that same sort of hay slash straw slash vegetal aroma that I was getting off the wrappers coming through as the primary taste. You know, it's probably all in my mind because it was the last thing I was thinking about as I smelled the cigar. But the mental images I'm getting as this smoke rolls around in my mouth are, you know, hay or straw or something vegetal. But it's off to a fantastic start, and there's really no reason for me to babble on and on for an excessive period of time. So I'll be back. We'll take a look at probably the first half of the Davidoff Millennium Blend Lancero, and then we'll go from there. I'm about halfway through my Davidoff Millennium Blend Lancero, and I gotta say, I really enjoy it. It's not quite what I was expecting. You know, after reading the sales speech, seeing that the cigar was billed as, you know, the most full-bodied Davidoff offering, I was a little concerned. I mean, it's pretty early in the morning, and you know, you can be a bit sensitive to powerful cigars. So I didn't know whether this morning was going to turn miserable if this thing was loaded with power, or if it would be, you know, it wouldn't be quite as full-bodied as billed. And it is simply not as full-bodied as billed. Full-bodied would not even cross my mind when thinking about this cigar, especially, you know, at this juncture in the day. It's bright and early, and it is not overwhelming even in the slightest sense. Medium-bodied at most. I have no idea how long Jerry's had this cigar, so perhaps it's mellowed down considerably with age. You know, that is one of the issues with smoking cigars that were sent to you in the mail, you know, by friends or family, is that you really don't know. You really don't get much of a sense as to, you know, how they've aged and, you know, how old they are. In this case, I'm just guessing that it's, you know, it's probably, I don't know, an average age for a cigar, and it hasn't mellowed much. And if that's the case, this is a beautiful morning companion, and you should not at all be scared away by the full-bodied tag, you know, when looking through sales literature. The flavor profile is pretty interesting. It has almost a cedar sort of taste to it. And I realize that these aren't flavor descriptors, they're more of a descriptors of body, but the smoke comes across as sort of hearty and thick. And when I say, I mean the cedar flavor, and something else in the cigar is, it comes across as thick and hearty. The finish, or the finish is very, very mildly creamy. It's borderline dry, and I really don't mind that in this cigar. A lot of times the dryness kind of turns me off, but in this case it's working with the flavor profile. And even though this is what I would most certainly consider a full flavored cigar, it is not a full bodied cigar. And again, medium bodied, full flavored, and just wonderful so far this morning. The construction has been flawless. I'm getting lots of smoke, more smoke than usual with a Lancero, which I'm in love with. Thin and even burn line. I've had to touch it up once or twice. I'm trying to multitask this morning, taking care of other things while doing this review, but really no complaints in the construction department. It's just doing really well. But again, you know, for a $19 cigar, it better perform, and you know, that's one of the nice things about Davidoff. While they are very expensive, I've been generally happy with most of the product that I've smoked. There are some that I just don't like. The Davidoff Classic, in the sort of maroon band. Not a fan of that cigar at all. Is that the Classic or whatever? The maroon band Xeno, the Xeno Classic. I don't know. at any rate, that's a more expensive cigar that I'm not really crazy about. You know, but the white banded Davidoffs have just really done it for me. Again, expensive, but I like them, and this is no exception. Well, we're coming down the home stretch on my Davidoff Millennium Blend Lancero, and one of the shocking aspects of this cigar is it's burned a lot longer than I anticipated. I got started around 5:45-ish. It's now almost 8 o'clock, so this has been burning for a considerable amount of time, considering it's a Lancero. Generally, you know, when I sit down to smoke a Lancero, I expect them to be not necessarily a short smoke, but I don't expect them to have the smoke time of, you know, a Robusto or a Toro or anything like that. So it was a really pleasant surprise to see that this is a really long-lasting cigar that smokes very well, produces lots of smoke, it coats the palate well. As the cigar burns down, it's getting a more creamy texture about it. The body still hasn't picked up from medium, so again, I think this is a solid medium-bodied cigar. I would not consider it full-bodied as the description calls it, and I think that it is full-flavored. The interesting thing about the flavor is it's kind of morphing into something considerably different. Originally, it had this sort of cedar taste about it, and it had the taste itself had this sort of hearty texture or hardiness about it, and I was really enjoying that. I found it to be very interesting. Now the cedar flavor is evolving a little bit. It's turning more towards like a cedary, nutty kind of a taste, and it has this really interesting lingering flavor. It's kind of like it almost has a little bit of a zing, sort of like hot sauce does. Not the heat associated with hot sauce, but that little bit of a lingering zing in hot sauce. Not so much the other stuff, the cayenne pepper sauce, but the regular hot sauce. I can't think of the name of it, but you know, it has that little bit of a lingering zing to it. There's a little bit of pepperiness. There's a little bit of spice, and you know, it just makes for a wonderful cigar. It's performed so much better than I anticipated in pretty much every way. You know, the flavors are fantastic. The construction has been stellar. You know, there's absolutely nothing to complain about. You know, the only thing that would stop me from smoking a lot more of these cigars is the price tag. It's pretty considerable, up around $20 a stick. So, you know, if I were celebrating a special occasion and I saw a Davidoff Millennium Blend Lancero sitting on the shelf, without a doubt, I would grab it, you know, without any hesitation. You know, for those occasions where you want to splurge and spend a little bit of money, I think that the Davidoff Millennium is a worthy cigar to fit the occasion. I don't know that I would be smoking this cigar later on in the evening, just because of the body being medium. You know, I don't know that it would stack up to, you know, an evening of drinks and dinner, and then be able to cut through all that. You know, it is full flavored, but I don't know that there's enough oomph behind it to make it stand out after all of that. You know, first thing in the morning with coffee, it's fantastic. Absolutely no complaints. So, big giant thumbs up, hearty recommendation or stellar recommendation for the Davidoff Millennium Blend Lancero. And that's going to do it for this review. Thanks for watching.